Hello YouTube, Totalhenry here. I have another manga haul. This is going to be 23 volumes. I have 2 complete series to show off, and some other stuff. I'm very excited about this haul. I have a lot of great stuff in here. Okay, and I also have some old out-of-print books that I've been wanting to buy and I've been wanting to read for a really long time. So let's just start. The first series that I got is Eden Zero. I got Volume 1, Volume 2. It's actually Eden's Zero. There's an S on the end. Okay. And Volume 3. So I read Fairy Tail. I read most of Rave Master. I stopped reading at some point. I forget where. I forget when. I liked Fairy Tail. Admittedly, I started reading it because I saw some, fan service type images of Lucy, and I was like, what is this? And I kept reading it. It was kind of, it was good. And then by the end, I just kind of, I don't know. I think many people felt like it sort of lost its way at the very end. But for whatever reason, I wanted to give Eden Zero a shot. I think I read a few chapters when it came out, and then I just kind of forgot about it for a long time. So I bought these off of Facebook Marketplace. I actually rode my bike like 2 miles or 4 miles, there and back in order to buy these from the seller. That's how much I wanted these. I think I got all 3 for like $25, so I don't know, not a terrible deal. They're a little, they're used. There's some creases down the back. And I actually read these. Usually I don't read. Usually I do these manga hauls before I even read the books, but I've actually read all 3 of these. And I'm really liking this so far. I feel like a lot has happened in these 3 volumes, but at the same time, not a lot has happened. And I think this has a lot of potential. I'm more excited about this than I feel like I was about Fairy Tail. But it still feels a lot like Fairy Tail. The main characters, to me, especially Rebecca, feel like Natsu and Lucy. And obviously Happy's there, but in this series he's an android. I'm going to show the back so you can pause it and read it yourself. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. The thing that I like the most about the series so far is, I think that the setting is really cool. His art is, the same as always. It's not my favorite, but it's certainly not bad. But I really like this idea of, I forget the name of the planet, but they went to, Norma, and everything was like 50 years in the past, and it was like perpetually stuck 50 years in the past. So now you have, the scientist character, I forget his name, Professor Wise. So now there's two of him. There's one from 50 years ago, and then there's the old professor who lives in like the present, so to speak. And I don't know, I thought that was just a really interesting plot point or aspect to the story. And there's just a lot of interesting things in here, and it almost feels like the first almost like the first 3 volumes are almost sort of like a prologue, and you don't know why it's called Eden Zero until at some point in volume 3. There's still sort of like the weird fan service elements that Fairy Tail had, which sometimes can like bog down the story. And even though I've said that I like fan service stuff, I feel like it has to be like all or nothing, where I hate it when there's fan service in a serious story. I mean, in rare exceptions, like I think in Shokugeki no Soma, I think they use it in a creative way, but other times I think it just undermines the story, and that was part of the problem I had with Fairy Tail. But anyway, I don't know. I think long story short, I am going to continue reading this series. I might read some more online before I decide to commit to more volumes, but I can see myself. I could probably see myself buying the rest of this, which I think contradicts what I just said a second ago. But anyway, I'm going to keep reading more of this. I really enjoyed it. I've spent too long talking about the series. Anyway, next series, and speaking of fan service and speaking of, reading, actually starting to read it before I do this video, is Sekirei. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is volume 1. I got this from Amazon, and I had seen this volume around, or like I'd seen it on Amazon. It was like always like recommended to me, and this was kind of a blind buy. I was trying to have to be very careful with the pictures I show here. So I've started reading it. I think the art is okay. It's not the best. It's not bad. And I'm just sort of trying to figure out like what the hell is happening. He gets this guy. It's almost like To Lavru, where the main character, like a girl, basically like falls into his lap, and now he's living with this girl. And but like it seems like there's almost like a battle royale style thing going on here, and I'm still pretty early on. I'm like 100 pages in. I don't know, like it's kind of fun, but I don't know. I'm feeling sort of lukewarm on it. I don't know how much more of this I want to read. Obviously, I'm going to finish this volume, but as of right now, I'm not thinking, oh, I have to go and buy the rest of this series. I have to, or even like have to go and read more of it. I might read more of it online just to see if it gets better. I'd heard some mixed things about it when I was reading reviews on My Anime List. Some people really hate it. No one seems to like love it from what I remember. Like, people saying it's 10 out of 10 greatest manga ever. I don't know. Hopefully by the end of the volume, it will just, be fun. I'm looking for, I think it's supposed to be like some sort of battle royale manga with, cute girls and their clothes rip. But as of right now, it's just, I don't know, like the few fight scenes that have been happening or that have happened felt very sort of like stale and uneventful. But hopefully it gets better. I'm only 100 pages into it. I don't know how many volumes it was in Japan, but there's still a lot more material if I choose to keep reading. I didn't expect to talk about those series for so long. So the rest of the books I have not yet read, so hopefully this will go by a little bit faster. Let's do this one first. So next I have one of the 2 complete series, and this is a shoujo manga. And so I have Kane Saga, this is volume 1, Forgotten Juliet. Then Kane Saga volume 2, The Sound of a Boy Hatching. I'm reading that part right there. Then volume 3, this is Kafka. And here comes the weird part. Kane Saga volume 4, part 1, The Seal of the Red Ram. And then Kane Saga volume 4, The Seal of the Red Ram, part 2. So there are 2 volume 4s. I've never seen that before. And so what this is so this was a blind buy. Well, let me first show, there's a sequel to Kane Saga called Godchild that was 8 volumes. So here's volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4. This volume was more expensive than all the other ones for some reason. I don't know why. There's also explicit content sticker on it. Okay. Then volume 5, volume 6, 7, and the last volume is volume 8. So this is the entire Kane Saga Godchild series. This was written and illustrated by Kaori Yuki. So anyway, what I was going to say is Kane Saga is sort of the part 1 of the series, and it is composed of a bunch of different like short stories. I don't know how connected they are. I don't know if it features the same characters. I don't know much about this series. This was kind of a blind buy on eBay. I think I bought volumes 1 to 3, 5, 6, and then 5 to 8 of Godchild on eBay. I had to buy volume 4 separately on Amazon for a little over cover price, and then I bought all of these on Amazon. Anyway, so it's a bunch of short stories, and Viz just called everything the series Kane Saga, and then put the short story. So Forgotten Juliet is the story in volume 1. And the reason there are 2 volume 4s is the story in volume 4, The Seal of the Red Ram, is just so long that they had to put it into 2 volumes. And apparently in Japan, they titled both of the volumes were called volume 4 because it's the 4th story. So that's why there are 2 volume 4s, and they say part 1 and then part 2. So, I obviously buy a lot of manga, and I kind of bought Godchild mostly just because of the covers. Like, it has this cool kind of sort of like gothic vibe to it and aesthetic, and it looked really cool. It looked like something I want to read, and I flipped through some of the volumes, and they look really cool. Like, I'm very intrigued. I think just from reading from the backs of some of these volumes, I think it's a detective murder series, and there might be some supernatural elements to it. So I'm very excited to read this. I don't read a lot of shoujo manga, so that was sort of another factor in me wanting to buy this series. Just, I don't know, I feel like I should be reading more shoujo manga. There's a lot of good manga out there that I've just sort of been ignoring because it's shoujo, or it's not on my radar because it's shoujo, because most of what I read is, shonen manga, shonen jump, or seinen. I don't think I need to show a picture, some pages from every single volume of Godchild, but you sort of get the idea of the sort of style and aesthetic of this series. Again, I think this art is just fantastic. Okay, so that is one complete series. The next complete series that I bought is The Black Museum, The Ghost and the Lady by Kazuhiro Fujita. So this is volume 1, and then here is volume 2, and they're in these nice hardcover things. So part of the reason I wanted to buy this series was, I think I've talked about it before in one of my videos, but Naoki Urasawa, he has a Japanese TV show called Manben, Manben, and you can find episodes on YouTube, but he basically goes to a manga artist and he films the manga artist doing their work for a period of a couple days, and then the show is him and said manga artist sitting down and watching the footage, and they just have this conversation about manga, about art in general. And I find it really, really fascinating, not only as someone who loves manga, but as someone who is an artist and who dreams of drawing their own comics one day. So I just find this show extremely entertaining and extremely insightful and motivating, and just stuff like that. and he's had a bunch of really amazing artists on the show, and Kazuhiro Fujita was one of the artists, and the series that he happened to be working on for this show was this Ghost in the Lady. I don't know if, I think the title is Ghost in the Lady. I'm not sure what the Black Museum means. I thought I read that somewhere that this might be a collection of short stories, but I don't know. Anyway, this was the series that he was drawing. So I watched the video. I've seen this video multiple times of him drawing these characters, drawing these fight scenes, and it looked really cool. And they were talking about his previous manga that he had drawn, and he's a well-known manga artist. I don't think a lot of his work has made it to America, but yeah, so I just really wanted to read the series, and I found volume 1. I don't understand, but like volume 1 is available. It's pretty easy to find. Volume 2 is much harder to find. I don't know why. Maybe there's something in this volume that who knows? I might just have to read it to figure out. But you can't find this on Amazon. Like, you can find a Kindle version, but I don't read that. But so I had to buy this on eBay, and they're really expensive on eBay. I've seen this volume on eBay go for $100, $200. I paid $100 for both of these. So just throwing money around. And at the moment, having not read this series yet, I think it was worth it. I'm very happy with this. And the seller was in like the United Arab Emirates. So these volumes came from United Arab Emirates to America. But I don't know. They're in good condition. They're in English. So I'm very happy to have it. Very excited to be able to read this. And I'm sure when I get to the panel that I saw him drawing in the video, I'm going to go a little crazy, but that will just be a personal victory for me. So now the last 4 volumes that I have, I'm the most excited about these volumes, because these are, speaking of out of print manga and expensive manga, I got a couple volumes of Osamu Tezuka's Phoenix. I got volume 1, volume 3, then we have volume 4, and volume 5. So I already owned volume 2, and I already owned volume 7. Volume 2 is A Tale to the Future, is super easy to find. It's the cheapest one. All the rest of his Phoenix is out of print. This needs to be reprinted. It's probably going to be Viz Media, reprint the series. Like, it's unfair that this series of Tezuka, which is arguably his greatest series ever, and arguably you can make an argument this is the greatest manga ever, is out of print and is so hard to find. Also, while I'm just ranting, why is it printed in the American style? Why is it flipped? What am I doing? It's flipped. Look at this. Like, why? Why is all the art flipped? That, to me, that just makes me mad. Tezuka is the greatest manga artist ever, and this feels like a disservice to him. And even nowadays, there are modern, or recent translations of Tezuka that are still flipped. I bought one a year or two ago. I forget what it was called. Trying to remember what it was called. But it was flipped. Like, why? That doesn't make... Like, manga is popular now. We are used to reading from right to left. Anyway, I'm super excited to have this. So now I have volumes 1 through 5 and 7. So I think I have like half of the volumes of Phoenix. And I've just decided... when I get the money, I'm just going to I'm just going to pay the asking price that these people are selling these volumes for. Because at this point, I just really want to read Phoenix. Enough talking. I'll just show some of the artwork in here. It's just classic Tezuka art. For those of you who don't know, Phoenix is Tezuka considered it his life's work, and it's 12 volumes, and the story goes from, and each volume is like contains its own story, but they're sort of like similar threads that tie everything together. So while you can read one volume and certainly enjoy it and probably get a lot out of it, I think from what I understand, you need to read them like all together to get the full benefit from the series. And volume 1 starts in the distant past, like at the dawn of time, and then volume 2 is the far future, and then volume 3 goes back to the past, but not quite as far as volume 1, and then I think volume 4 jumps into the future again, and I think it just keeps going like back and forth until it gets to present day. I think that's what it is. I could be wrong, and maybe I am wrong, but that was my understanding of it. But I think basically it jumps back and forth from, you know, the far past to the far future. And I know people are wondering what I paid for. People are probably wondering what I paid for these. So I bought all of these on eBay. I bought these two from the same seller. They were different lots. Like they weren't all together in one sale. Like I had, like there were two different things. You know what I'm talking about. And each of these, I think the asking price was $100. I said, can you do 80? So I paid $80 for each of these. So 80 and 80. And these are in great condition. They're new. They look fantastic. Then volume 4 and volume 5 are library books. So they have some markings on the side. I took off the stickers and all the plastic wrap. You can sort of see remnants up there. And these, I forget exactly what I paid for these, but one was, I think, $45. One was like $65. So between $40 and $60 for each of these, which I don't think is too bad considering some of these are going for like $200. Dayton Metro Library. Is that Dayton, Ohio? Maybe. This is Mid-Valley? I hate that how they write stuff along here. Whatever. That's not a real complaint. But I just can't express how excited I am to have more volumes of Phoenix. I love this series so much. I've read very little of it, and I'm just sort of, you know, almost like extrapolating and kind of hoping that the rest of the series will be as good as, you know, volume 2 was, a tale to the future. But, you know, it's Tezuka. Everything I read of Tezuka, I love. Again, I've said this before, I think Tezuka is the greatest manga artist ever. My personal opinion is from what I've read, I don't think I've not read a series by Tezuka that I thought was, you know, 10 out of 10, A plus, but all of his series are like consistently like B plus, maybe A minus. And the fact that he's written not just one series that good, but he's written so many different series. I think he wrote like 70 different series, and of the, you know, several that I've read, they're so good, and there are so few manga artists out there that have created numerous, that have been that consistent for so long, for as long as he was. I think Naoki Urasawa might be the only other manga artist that's come close to that. Takashi Obata, he doesn't write stuff, but, you know, he's illustrated a number of fantastic series. But Tezuka, he also just, his influence can be felt today. So I'm like trying to justify why I'm excited about Phoenix, but I don't think I have to. Anyway, that is the video. Lots of manga, lots of reading to get to my ever-growing stack of unread manga. I hope you guys liked this video. hopefully in a year I'll have some more Phoenix, get a better job, bigger paycheck, and I can spend more money on manga. Thank you guys for watching.